to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Jordan Kamps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Spy Dude Hymanson.
Spy Dude, level 3 Spy Dude.
Hi, dude.
Well, we are back this week talking about another kids movie for you, and not just any kids, Spy Kids. Spy Kids 2. The Island of Lost Dreams. This is this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be another fun episode
It's a prequel to Lost.
Yeah.
The Island of Lost Dreams.
Yeah, okay. Let's wait on the Lost references until we're actually talking about the movie.
That's not this podcast.
This strangely marks the halfway point of this franchise, actually. So,
thank Christ.
if you have suggestions of where we should go next after the island, you can email us at sequelrights@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or watch on our YouTube channel at Sequel Rights.
And to be clear, that was not a knock on Spy Kids. That was very much just what a mercifully short franchise. We've been dealing with some long ones lately.
Yeah.
But if you have a franchise that you'd like to suggest for us, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Leave your suggestion in your comments. We will see it, and chances are we might do it. So leave those reviews. We'd really appreciate it.
We might. We just might.
We just might.
But first, we got a little island to visit.
The threat has never been greater. The stakes have never been higher. And the world's best defense has never been hungrier.
How could you be eating in a time like this? Ground!
They're bringing the whole family.
Looking cool already. Like me. That's my boy.
If you want top secret information, just go straight to the source.
Welcome to the Pentagon.
There is no hacking in this household.
Sorry.
No hacking in this household, Tyler.
This very same household. I'm really happy that the makeup keyboard made a comeback.
Yes. Oh man, this movie. There were so many things I was surprised to see come back, honestly, and we'll get to those.
Yes.
But seeing as this is Spy Kids, they want to keep the kids, so this movie came out immediately the next year after Spy Kids, the original Spy Kids.
It's like one of those things where it felt like they had to have just used extra footage from the other movie.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because this movie has way more guest stars.
That's right. Which is one of the best parts.
Like Paxton just...
Oh my God, Paxton at the beginning of this movie is the best thing ever.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez.
Like, I own a theme park.
Yeah, I love that we get the Troublemaker Studios logo at the opening, and then it turns out there's a whole Troublemaker theme park with the little guy as a costumed character and everything.
Theme park / Berry Farm.
Yeah.
Because it was totally Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah.
Was it? I thought it was like a Six Flags in Texas.
I feel like the entrance was Knott's Berry Farm, but yeah, I think some of it was Six Flags in Texas.
A lot of this...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that a lot of the movie was filmed in Austin, Texas, and that's like shouted out in the credits multiple times and everything too.
But some of the movie was shot in Costa Rica.
Yeah. That is really cool.
At Arenal.
Yeah. Yep. Arenal and Manuel Antonio. This movie, again, like right off the bat, is just popping off with crazy ideas, hilarious shit going on immediately. Bill Paxton is like the Walt Disney of this park or whatever. Like,
oh God,
he's like
the Walt Disney Johnny Knoxville of this park.
Yeah, he's like the main owner. There's like it's at Six Flags. It's not like, oh, Bugs Bunny owns the park. It's not like
Wally World. Yeah,
yeah, it's like it's. He's the main figurehead there, and this introduction to all the rides is so funny because they're all like.
These rides are like, yeah, you couldn't even make these rides in like Roller Coaster Tycoon because they're too crazy.
Yeah,
they're pretty. I think they reminded me as a kid. I wrote up a proposal for like an 18-hole like crazy mini golf course.
Ooh.
And it was like a long road trip, and we sketched it out on like a legal pad. Me and my brother in the backseat of his car. We had these crazy ideas of like this is like a snake will have a magnet on it, and the golf balls have magnets, and it'll chase it, and things will happen. It's like this totally remind me of what this theme park is. Of just like what crazy thing could you think of if you're like I can think of a better ride than Walt Disney? Like yeah, they juggle us.
Oh my God.
It felt so like pure kid energy. It's awesome. And Bill Paxton is just in full camp mode.
Yeah, it's so great.
He's dressed as a cowboy.
I loved the Whiplash one. That was the one that was like, oh my God, you'd be so dead on that ride. The other ones were like, okay, you just spin really fast. Some of them,
Yeah.
But the Whiplash
even the one that's the juggler one that she goes on though, you would definitely die.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like a bird hits you. And
they wouldn't be able to make that ride work.
Yeah, no, this is one of these movies where like the Insane Clown Posse saw it and they were like, magnets, how do those work? And they're like, oh, this movie explained it. It solved it for me.
Magnets. Yeah,
there's so many magnets in this movie.
Just to confirm for anyone who's wondering, Bill Paxton's character's name is Dinky Winks, apparently.
Oh yeah.
There's a point where he's okay. So the through line of this scene is that the president's daughter she is an adrenaline junkie. Like she's ready for the most gnarly ride. That she's not impressed. Like she has to deal with assassins on a daily basis. So like your roller coaster, like that doesn't mean anything to her.
Yeah.
And so Bill Paxton is kind of going through and showing her all these different rides and being like this one, and she's like, I don't know, like not crazy enough for me. And one of my favorite parts of this is Bill Paxton walks in front of like, and this is my personal favorite, the vomiteer. We tell people not to get on it with a full stomach, and then he just opens up an umbrella and he said, but people never listen. And then like a bunch of Nickelodeon green slime comes shooting off the ride onto the umbrella in glorious fashion.
Yeah, I did think that was hilarious. It's like, there's certainly rides that can make people throw up, but this one is designed specifically for that purpose.
And it's true though, no one would listen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't wear masks or anything. Yeah.
Yep.
But the president's daughter, that was so funny because I just thought it was really funny, her introduction, that the people at the park were like, we have a special guest with us, the president's daughter. Like she doesn't have a name or anything. And then she was being really ominous, like, yeah, my dad's gonna be here, whether he likes it or not. I remember what she said, like, if I have anything to say.
I thought that she was a robo kid.
Yeah, me too.
She was like, yeah.
I immediately thought
No, she just wants her dad's attention.
Yeah. Because he was her dad
sad.
first. Yeah.
So yeah, she climbs out of the juggler and is standing up there. I don't know, like she's not really threatening to kill herself. She's just kind of on the thing, needing to be rescued.
It's huge
it's
liability.
kind of like a game of chicken of just like, like you better, like if I die, you guys are gonna be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Better call in our number one agents or our top two agents
at the park.
Yeah. They were already there, thankfully. Yeah, and so we see that Carmen and Juni are still, the Spy Kids program is still going, and they are given these little magnetic climb up the ride hand things.
They're fitted with the latest technology.
This is 2002, and in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, there's the exact same set piece.
Yeah, but if Tom Cruise had to do that, he would have been like, I don't need anything on my hands. I'm just going to steal this roller coaster or whatever.
Natural suction. Yeah.
Natural suction. It's not like sticking on like one of those things that cleans aquariums.
Yeah, he's like cupping his hands as he climbs up.
Didn't you see me in the movies, boy?
So anyways, we find out now that Carmen and Juni have rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, do they.
I already forgot the boy's name, but the girl's name was Gertie.
It's Gary and Gertie Giggles.
Gary and Gertie.
The Giggles
Gary
twins.
and Gertie Giggles.
They're not twins. But, and they are, apparently they're outfitted with the even more latest technology than what our original Spy Kids have. But
for some reason.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
some spy kid white privilege right there.
That's right.
Yeah, right. I did enjoy that there was immediately like this rivalry going on. I didn't expect there to already be like a whole set of Spy Kids at this point.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're there.
Yeah. Yeah, so they kind of race up there, rescue the girl, fight over the what's it called?
Transmooker.
Transmooker. That's right.
The Transmooker, and then Juni appeals to the president's daughter with heart and says that he listens to her and is like, "Hey, like I can get your dad to talk to you."
Yeah,
I have higher clearance than him, I guess.
Yeah, he literally says that I can tell him like if he says it, or if I say it, he has to do it. Yeah, which I thought was funny.
But then they get her down. The Secret Service comes and everyone's whisked away. And Juni's like, "No, wait, I promised her." And they're like, "You have another assignment, kid." And they just shove him into a car.
Yeah.
Something.
And then we get like the I think we get the intro. Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams.
Yeah, and so it becomes immediately clear, even in this first, mini mission, that Carmen has now taken on, like, she's still in the field, obviously, but she's like the hacker, like techie person who's always going to be like going up to the computer and typing stuff in or whatever. And Gertie seems to play a similar role in the other team. And the boys are not it's like, yes, good women in STEM, but the boys are also not really any better at the physical stuff. Like the girls are just overall better in this whole movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'll allow it. It's compensating for every other movie in existence by letting the girls be better at both the physical and the mental.
Yeah.
And they're both more mature than their brothers.
Yeah. I mean, Juni does have a pretty impressive ballet sequence, but
he does have an amazing ballet sequence.
But when it comes to using the technology or fighting people, he's not that great.
Yeah.
He has a pretty cool robot frog bud.
Ralph. Yeah.
Yes, he does.
I loved all the gadgets in this movie. Look 100% like they were immediately put into production for McDonald's Happy Meals or like Burger King Kids Club meals or something.
No, McDonald's, because this is the second time that there's points where it's just McDonald's here's your food's here, and it's like like Big Mac and fries.
I did like when the fries poked him in the face because that's totally like we over technologized this.
Yeah.
Just eat the fries. Like,
your fries
don't need to be fed fries by a robot.
That was great. We kind of get just a little bit of the home life before we head to the big announcement of the new OSS leader. What did head of the OSS?
Head of the OSS. It's like a ball for
the entire
to be announced.
Yeah,
it's like a dinner party / award show in terms of who's going to be promoted.
Yeah, God, well, I don't think that the FBI would like do anything like that.
Well, no, but
now the new director is.
But when you're a kid, you think that's how it absolutely works.
That's true, and all the Spy Kids are there, and
and when we say all the Spy Kids, we mean like 30 child spies you've never seen before.
Yeah, so many spies. Because it's a whole Spy Kids division of the OSS now.
Like, there's Spy Kids as little as like 3 years old in the scene.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And they beat a man down.
They do, yeah.
That was so fun. I love this little moment because it like continues throughout the entire movie. We learn one of the traits of Gary Giggles is that apparently he's got a weird laugh. And what I love about that is like they introduce it in the scene, and then every other time in the movie this kid like appears on screen, like right before he enters the scene, they play this laugh of his. And it's like you won't even know he's there, and then you just hear the like hee. and then he shows up, which is
to the point
so
where
weird.
like bring back the bit from the first movie where Juni can like imitate people.
Oh yeah.
And like there's a voice activation sequence and he like does his voice perfectly and it's like access denied and he's just like hold on, I've got this, and then makes that insane noise and the computer's like identity accepted.
You are Gary Giggles. Yeah. So funny. So funny. But yeah, at the dinner party, they start to notice that something's weird. And everyone raises their glasses to toast some champagne, and everyone who drinks it goes out. They pass out into their giant plates of noodles. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, they all had a lot of noodles.
the
Antonio Banderas was the only one who just had a salad.
Yeah.
Noodles.
It's
He
like
was
the
like-
plates were
he was
just
watching his carbs.
So
It was
many
so
noodles.
funny. There's a great point where like they're going through and the waiters are trying to offer the kids champagne and they're like, I'm a child, I can't have champagne. And so it's a way to get all the adults taken out like immediately
Yeah.
because they drink their champagne and they pass out. And then some kid yells like it's the sleepies or it's sleepers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're
Carmen.
sleepers.
Carmen like smells the cup and goes like, "It's sleepers" or something. Yeah.
It's sleepers. And then Devo comes in and tries to steal something.
Yeah, I mean, when they first got there and all the waiters are wearing these ridiculous hats, I was like, okay, well, they're all the waiters are obviously evil and the hats are going to do something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Well, their hats turns out they're just magnetic.
Yeah, big
Take that
magnet helmets
insane clown posse.
with very strong chin straps.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing funnier than watching a bunch of kids beat up a bunch of adults.
They really do. So this is the part where we see kids like they're like activate and they're like hanging off like chain link fences.
There's
and
one
closing
kid
doors.
There's one kid that looks like he's using like the umbrellas from like cocktail drinks to fly around in the room. I mean, they looked a little bit bigger, but that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it's insane. And this is the part where we see like there's some of these henchmen on the ground, and there's literally like a 3-year-old who comes up and kicks him in the ribs.
Yeah, somebody's kid. Yeah, so funny, so funny.
And then when my favorite part about the scene is when the adults wake up after the transmooker has been stolen from the president, President Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, Christopher McDonald.
When they pick up all the adults, they all have just like hilarious amounts of food and stuff stuck in their face. Like they're meant to look ridiculous, and in a way that I'm sure was so fucking funny for kids.
Oh yeah, the adults
There's
get
a
made
lot
fun
of
of.
things that I was like, okay, like, you know, maybe I chuckled or rolled my eyes, but I was like, a kid finds that hilarious. Like when there was a joke later about like her feet smelling bad or something, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
the kids are probably dying over this, you know?
Oh
like,
yeah, that moment was weird.
Yeah.
Because she actually checks. Yeah, pretty
This
funny.
was like the thing that made me think of like how much it sucks of like movies that come out now have to be so 4-quadrant. So and what that means is just everybody has to like it, from grandma to children, and things that are just so meant to please everybody in a way that they're a little bit reduced. They have to be not as focused and not as specific. And I feel like that we're moving away from things that are just for kids in a movie setting like this.
Mhm.
Aside from, you know, I mean, even some of the Disney animated movies these days have a lot more jokes for adults, and they're working at multiple levels and some of that sophistication. But there's definitely a place for something that is just specifically targeted for kids, and it's really fun to watch this movie operating at that level.
Yeah, and it's like I love that the all the kids in this movie, you know, it's like they're all fine at acting, but it doesn't feel like they went and got like, I feel like a lot of kids that get cast today are like, oh, we're trying to like cast someone who's like a great actor.
So
And,
serious.
like,
It's like a
yeah.
30-year-old woman inside
Exactly.
of an 8-year-old girl's body.
Exactly. Like this person, like even like the Dora the Explorer one, like, you know, it's like that doesn't seem
Yeah.
like a kid in that movie.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to see these actors that feel like they're actually kids and just like having a fun time and not
Well,
being
and they
like,
also like don't have the ego is not the right word, but like the amount of caring about their image that I think kid actors have now. You know, like these kids are like, especially the girls are like, yeah, I'm in mud. I fell in a vat of poop. You know, like my feet smell bad. I'm in a giant fat suit. You know, like whatever it is. Like they just were doing it and having fun. Like they did.
One of my favorite line reads in the entire movie is just camel poop. By was it Gertie?
Gertie.
Yeah, that's that's Emily Osment. So she goes on to do, you know, physical comedy for years and years and years in Hannah Montana. So
and Haley Joel's sister, correct?
Yep. Yes. So oh, and also two of the spy kids, the extraneous spy kids in the dinner were Lorelai Linklater, you know, from Boyhood and all that, and then Jasmine Marine, who I'm assuming is related to Cheech.
Marin, yeah.
Get all of those Texas filmmakers in there.
Yes.
That's funny. I think after this, we finally get to see our first glimpses of the OSS headquarters. We first see OSS Junior, which is like designed like a kindergarten block room or something. Like
it looks like a Discovery Museum.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all like these pastel colors and like the bright colors of yellow and blue and I guess not pastel, but
and just the comedy of the fact that he had his picture up as Spy Kid of the Month, and they take it down or replace him with the other kid, and the guy just like shakes his head at him.
He's like, "Sorry, man."
So Juni is fired because he ended up having an argument with Gary. Is Gary? No, I keep getting it wrong.
No, it was Gary Giggles.
Gary Giggles.
He gets in an argument with Gary about the transmooker, and them fighting over it allows it to be stolen away by the bad guys. So Juni's fired.
Yep. Poor Juni.
Poor.
And we also find out at the dinner that their dad is not going to be the head of the OSS.
It's going to be Mike
Mr.
Judge.
Giggles.
Yeah.
It's going to be Hank Hill himself.
Donegan Giggles.
Donegan, that's right. It's Donegan.
Yeah. Donegan Giggles.
He gets to work in a building of only initials.
Yes, I love the junior building is funny, but I think the adult building is hilarious. It's like a skyscraper in the shape of OSS. And then every office in the building is like OSS, and then like the middle S is a door to enter your office.
And the desk is like typeset letters of OSS. And for Donegan to get to his office, he has to hop on platforms made of OSS.
Yeah, that was just such a random thing to put in that moment. He was like, I'm going to go into my office now. And then he has to like do this death-defying like platforming to get to his desk. I'm like, how many heads of OSS have died just trying to get to their desk?
But like that's the most kid like thing is like, oh, it's super secret. It's gonna be hard like a video game.
Yeah, and then his office is just like all video screens like up on the ceiling and the walls. Yeah. Oh man, that I thought the building design was really funny.
It's so good. We get a visit from a resident technician, Machete, and he gives them rubber bands.
I did really like that part. They're like, "Oh crap! Like someone's coming!" And then they zip line up to the ceiling, and he gets in there and he like looks up and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing up there? Get down!"
We get a cool tree house.
Yep. That's the new little secret hideout that they have this movie.
Which I now have a new theory. Like we were talking about the end credit thing.
Yeah, because they do it again.
They do it again, and I think that it's two things, right? So it's just like basically a long tracking shot and down a hallway of some of these sets and things like this. This one, there's a ton of post-credit stuff that we can talk about, but the last thing was basically the treehouse and then their Spy Kids chairs opening up. And so I think that for Robert Rodriguez, like he's honestly thinking like, take a still of this, make you can put yourself in this movie, you can put yourself in this environment, you can mess around with green screen, you can mess around with whatever. And so I think it's kind of made there here's your own Spy Kids playset. And I think that's actually kind of cool because we see more of this treehouse, which is awesome in this end credit sequence than we do in this initial scene.
Yeah,
does he do that? Is anything like that in his other movies, like the non-Spy Kids ones?
He will offer things up as plates and stuff like that. For like Sin City, he had a bunch of stuff that you could here's the green screen footage, or here's this, and like he is about having other filmmakers being able to kind of do things DIY. So I imagine that was something that was part of it.
Okay,
that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So we find out then that they're going to hack into the system and rehire Juni and switch the missions so that the other kids get sent to the Gobi Desert and they get to go on this mysterious mission.
Yeah, it's the most desired mission for all spies.
Oh yeah, I forgot the part when Donegan gets promoted to the head of OSS. He's like, I want to bring up here two of the best agents, Gary and Gertie, get up here. And then he's like, now you've been sent up to OSS level 1 where you finally get to do real missions.
Yeah.
And then he adds on at the end and also they're my children. It was not the most exciting part of that.
Right, because the whole thing about them being at the amusement park, they're upset that they were not there. Saving the president's daughter from her putting herself in danger was not a real mission.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Spy Kids are like, we need to be in the big leagues.
Once you're level 1 clearance, you get to do real missions.
But level 2, you can still tell the president what to do. So they end up in their, what are they called? Spy flies?
The Dragon Spy 2 or
Dragon
5
Spy,
or whatever.
Yes.
Wait, before this though, we before we move out into the underwater stuff, I think don't they get stumped and they need some information about they need some cameo information about
correct.
What might be going on? Like who would do this? Why would someone be messing around with a transmuker? Who could we call that might have an idea? And who did they call? Wait, I've got a button for this.
Who? What? When? Where? What? When? Where? And why? I delighted. What do I intend to find this time? Run around, jump down, bounce and bound and find another way to duck and hide. This Isle of Dreams.
Oh, Floop is back.
Danny Elfman.
He's actually not. He's not involved in this one.
I know.
This is just a Robert Rodriguez joint.
Yeah, and Alan Cumming, I'm so glad that he was back.
I was not expecting him to come back. I thought there's that moment where you see the show playing on the TV, and I was like, oh sweet, they have a little cute cameo of the show, and that's gonna be it.
And the robot kids are still there.
Yes. And they say hello.
Oh.
And the song is that he's singing. There's one of the Mickey Mouse Club days, they had 5 different days of the week, and one of them was Mystery Day, and they have this song it's a who, what, why, where, when, and how day, that song. So it's I think it's kind of playing off of that.
That's
which
awesome.
Is really funny. As usual, the best song of the movie.
I
don't know. This time there's competition.
That's right. You never know. Yeah, so so Floop is back for a little moment. But who they really want to talk to is Alexander Minion, who's also back. Tony Shalhoub back.
And they're like, "Hey, Minion, we want to talk to you, but we also need your monk powers."
I love that.
To deduce this.
I love that he's they're like, how you doing? And he's like, well, things are a little bit too floopy in here for my liking, but hey, it's a paycheck. Because he's like on the TV show.
He's literally like a Flintstones appliance. He's like, it's a living.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, and like at the last movie, they said they were pretty sure they could reverse it, but they obviously didn't bother to. And then he's like forced to still live there and work for Floop.
Yeah, and apparently he was learning 4-part harmony with his other faces.
Ugh, vomit.
The Vomiteer.
Yeah. But he tells him the whole thing about the Island Man and all that stuff, I think, right?
Yeah, you need to go find the Island Man. You got to find the man in the hatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's down there? And yes,
Steve Buscemi wishes that he was Desmond. Okay.
And I wish that Desmond was Steve Buscemi.
Yes. But I think that takes us back to the Dragon Spy 5.
Dragon Spy 5.
Which is just another really cool design for an underwater ship.
It is, and I definitely got some like Life Aquatic vibes. Like there's definitely stuff in this movie that I found very visually interesting that I was like, oh, like when did this come before or after that thing? And it's like, oh, this came before. Like
just all these like colorful buttons and everything does something and I don't know. It's just lots of cool ideas going on in that one thing, and it just looked cool. It was just like, I mean, yeah, why would you ever think to have a dragonfly-shaped submarine? It just looked really cool the way it was being propelled.
It's like wordplay
you drew it when you were a
Dragon
kid.
Spy. Yeah.
Wordplay.
Yep. I thought that looked cool.
There's literally like, when you would draw things in art class in elementary school and you could get like a print made of it, like for your family or something like that. My mom still has a mug that is based off of all my underwater interpretations of different Star Wars vehicles.
Oh my God.
So they're all like yellow, like they're like underwater subs, but it's just like 30 variations on like, oh, like what is this underwater sub? Like what could it be? Like this is a Y-wing, this is an X-wing, this one looks like a dragonfly. Like
that was all before like Naboo.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or before the bongo hit the
before
scene.
the bongo. Yeah. Which was my favorite sequence of that movie. Let's not lie. But it's just like it's such where kids' imaginations are at in a way that's just so wonderful.
Yeah. This entire movie, again, like the last one, is just like filled to the brim with cool things like buttons you'd want to push. Spy Kids energy. Yeah.
So while they're in the sub, everything starts going wonky and they realize they've lost all electric power. Which was, I think, a good device of the movie, because I was actually already kind of getting sick of the device wars among the Spy Kids. I was like, I don't want this whole thing to be like a device measuring contest, among these kids. So it was
which
good
is
to
something that
them in that way.
The Mission Impossible movies have fallen victim to.
You didn't want to see them fight with their watches that do everything you could possibly think of except tell time.
Tell time. Yeah.
I did not. Yeah. So they find their way onto the island in their giant inflatable suits.
This was so funny. Like the electricity goes out and they're still like, rebreathers. And they're like, oh God, we have to do it manually. Like, what is up with this? And it just is like literally pulling open a drawer that has like their little rebreather apparatus in there.
And like there's a great throwaway line that's just like, luckily they're valve based, so we're fine.
Yeah, they don't use electricity.
And then they get into big puffy inflatable suits, and then we end up with the cat dog of sea monsters.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, it's like two huge sea monsters, but then you find out the head is just the other end. Pretty funny.
Don't think about it anatomically.
No,
nope.
This is a kid. This is a kid's
They're just
movie.
pooping back and forth forever.
Yeah, yeah. It just goes
Me
back.
and you
Yeah.
forever.
That's a high class joke right there. Okay.
It's a beautiful joke. It's a beautiful joke. And if you
boy.
don't
boy.
know
Oh, boy.
what that joke is, I suggest you head to your local library or check out Criterion's releases this month.
Check out Pooping Back and Forth, a memoir.
Miranda July's Me and You and Everyone We Know is a wonderful film.
Yes.
One of my favorites. Go watch it.
Anyway, now that I'm done patting myself on the back, let's. We also get a storyline for the parents in this movie, because
yes, the B plot.
Which parents?
Yeah, what would any family film be without drama with the in-laws?
Oh God, the grandparents who are only credited as grandfather and grandmother in the movie.
Should have been abuelo and abuela.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. We get some surprise appearances by those. They play up the Ricardo Montalban appearance more than Holland Taylor, but
so was he like actually in a wheelchair at this point, or was that just for the movie?
He could have been. I had that thought. I did not look it up though.
I'm surprised he even did it. But whatever. You could tell that they were like, we are so excited that he agreed to be in the movie. We're gonna give him a wife and a whole storyline and emotional
and we're gonna give him this cool moment where they're like, oh, you'd think we wouldn't come prepared, and then suddenly reveal that he has like helicopter blades on his wheelchair.
His wheelchair can also fly with cocktail umbrellas.
Yeah, and the grandmother just has like wings on her back or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like jetpack.
It just reminded me of Ricardo Montalban's Simpsons cameo where he's trying to kill Grandpa Simpson, and like there's like he takes a photo of him, and this is one of the lines that have been emblazoned into my mind since childhood, where he's just like there's a photo of Grandpa Simpson eating like canned peaches, and he goes, Del Monte. Enjoy them, old man, for they will be your last. And it's like, okay, so I'm seeing the actual like movie built out version of this character.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, he gets a lot to do for a cameo for sure. And you would think if you hear that he's in the movie, you would assume, well, he's got to be Antonio Banderas' dad, right? But no, he's not. He's Carla Gugino's dad and mom. We don't meet Antonio Banderas' parents yet.
And they sometimes pretend they can't.
Montalban is not her dad and mom.
Yes, sorry. Holland Taylor is the mom. These parents are her parents. She's half white.
Yeah, they sometimes pretend they can't understand what Antonio Banderas is saying.
Which is like, okay.
I was like, what?
It is pretty funny because there is something inherently funny of emasculating Antonio Banderas.
I mean, it was funny when they surprise show up on the mothership or whatever it is that they're on, and there's that moment where he looks in the window and there's this weird like effect of his hair like popping up really all of a sudden like like he's totally shocked and his hair goes whoop. I thought that looked really funny.
The joke of Antonio Banderas' mustache is very funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there's a point where like he doesn't have the mustache, then like everybody's suiting up, and then he opens up this red like Pulp Fiction somebody's soul suitcase, and it has red glowing light, and it's his strap-on mustache. And then right after the scene that they're talking about, where the in-laws make it on the submarine, the mom's like, "Oh, you have something on your face," and she just rips it off.
Oh, it's so funny.
Which is very funny.
Yeah.
Objectively funny.
And Holland Taylor like does not age. Like she aged up to a certain point and then just like, stopped.
Yep, yep. She looks red.
Because she looks the same today.
So the kids make it on the island. Thankfully, the island is enshrouded by the transmooker, and so no gadgets work. They're gonna have to rely on their brains. Juni just wants to eat a candy bar, but it takes him a while to be able to do so.
They're like meal bars. They're full on meal
and
bars.
He's eating them throughout the movie. Like multiple times.
I feel like every single time he's about to take a bite, like it's like something happens. Yes.
Yeah. And then they decided to go with that joke in the trailer as like the first joke of the entire trailer.
Yes. So there's the trans mooker. Gertie and Gary end up in the desert in a bunch of camel poop.
Yep.
As previously mentioned, but they are able to right their course and they're headed for the Spy Kids.
Yes.
My favorite joke in the movie is how Antonio Banderas is trying to track the children.
Yes, this line is amazing.
He just says offhandedly, he's like, remember that year that I insisted I did all of the children dental work personally?
Yeah, and Carla Gugino's like, of course, how could I forget? And those two line readings was just like, oh man, that was a year. That was a year.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, he basically implanted like trackers in their teeth. But it's like the way he's played.
Such an absurd thing.
Actually, going back to Gary, so we haven't even talked about how Carmen has a thing for Gary.
Oh yeah, she's got a little crush on him.
Got a little crush on him. And so they're at this dinner before there's a scene with Antonio Banderas where he's just quizzing him on the types of dances.
Yeah.
And he's like, dance, show me this. Like, okay, fine, you can dance with her. And then like it's really weird until he turns to Juni and he's just like busts up laughing in a way. He's just like, I am so just fucking with this kid.
Yeah.
And it so plays into Antonio Banderas' character, which I love. Like the idea that this year of doing their own dentistry work works in this movie and is totally within his character is beautiful. It's beautiful. He is so absurd and amazing, but still so serious in a way that like is so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that both him and Juni shone more in this movie than in the first one.
Absolutely.
Like the first one was a lot more about Carmen and the mom, which is fine. But this one we learn a lot more about Juni and the dad.
There is a brutal hair combing scene.
Yes.
That I can't believe we brushed over. So Juni has like some really curly red hair, and it's he's a small child. It's fine. And Antonio Banderas has his slick back, super slick hair, and he's basically before they're going to this fancy dinner, he's like, "You're gonna look like Dad. You're gonna look amazing. You're gonna look sexy," and he's just like combing out the curls in a way that looks like he's torturing his son.
It's not a scene you see often between a father and son.
No.
Like the mom torturing a girl by combing her hair, very common. But the dad version, not so much. But
It was
like in life, it is
wonderful.
common, I think.
Yes. And he was like, "Oh, perfect! You'll look just like me." And then we got Ralph. Antonio Banderas was super. This is actually a really sweet subplot. Like Antonio Banderas is trying to be vital to Juni's life, and
he
has a bunch of technology. Then thinks that he's a pretty good spy and has it all figured out. And so Antonio Banderas is like, "I'm going to tie your bow tie." And he's like, "No, I got my robot frog. He can do it. Whatever. I don't need you, Dad."
I liked that after the Ralph robot like ties the bow tie, the rest of the scene you can clearly see like the clasp of like just a pre-made bow tie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Pretty funny.
So serious question, you guys. Okay, serious philosophical question time. Do you think that God stays in heaven in fear of what he's created here on earth?
Direct quote from what was his name? Romano,
yeah.
Yeah, Ray Romano. Everybody loves him.
Romero.
Yeah,
sorry.
it was Romero. I think it's a George A reference there. Homage, if you will. Harryhausen has a cameo in this movie, but I didn't catch it.
I couldn't figure that out. Yeah, I saw that on Wikipedia, and then it directs you to this article where it also just says that he has a cameo, but I couldn't figure out who he was or.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
I was like, is that even true?
Well, that'd probably be the whole point.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough. So yes, we have amongst the Island of Lost Dreams a mad genius who has been splicing animals together. Marlon Brando's Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
No, wait, different one.
his
Wrong movie. Sorry.
I love that, like, almost every scene that Steve Buscemi is in this movie is like just pure insanity on the screen, and like what his character is doing, like his whole introduction of how he's like, I just wanted to make tiny zoos for people. And he brings out like this box that says zoo, and you open it up and all these little tiny animals come out, and it's so cute. And then like he was like, but then I started thinking, I wanted to try something different, and he brings out the Zoo 2.
T-O-O. Zoo also.
And it's all these like spliced together animals, like a sheepdog or a...
They all have to be plays on words though, except for the slizzard.
Yeah, the slizzard. Yeah. What was
catfish?
Catfish. That's right.
Yeah.
It was all like real
monkey.
animals, but just the combination of them.
Yeah.
So funny.
Wonderful.
A spider monkey. Yeah, that was the other one.
There's catfish. There's tiger sharks. There's horseflies.
Oh, horsefly! Yeah, the spork, the stork pig that they went through many times.
And it's
kidnaps two major characters.
Yes,
they while every time he's explaining like how he created these monsters. Or the miniature animals, it cuts back to this like really like bright, happy looking scene of him like mixing test tubes, like with a big smile on his face, like, I'm doing this for the kids. Yeah.
Did you guys have a creepy crawler's oven, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh my god! I mean, I know what you're talking about from the commercial, but I never had such a thing.
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we had it, and it's like this is the most like. So if you don't know what this is, it was like an easy like I'm sure
it was a boys' easy bake
oven. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. There was a boys' easy bake where they give you like these die-cast molds. And they basically give you like bottles of plastic that I'm sure were toxic as shit. But you can mix them together and then like bake them in the oven in these die-cast molds, and then you end up with like rubber spiders or lizards or things like that.
Oh, I thought they were candy. Were they not like gummy worms?
Oh no, you cannot eat them.
Oh,
I think they were toys.
The commercial, I thought it was like an easy bake. Oh, you're making like gummy worms.
There was a version that there was gummies, but that's not what I had.
Too much confusion with that product.
Yeah, this thing, it was a neon orange box with a green top that had a hot light bulb inside of it.
Okay, sing the jingle.
Oh, I don't know the jingle.
Really? Oh, I always used to see the commercial because it would be like creepy crawlers.
I know the jingle. I'm sorry. Creepy crawlers. Yeah,
that's the only reason I know about it is for the jingle.
Yeah. But like it's the kid thing of like, oh, I make like even when you were mixing colors, there was like, oh, I am making like my own creature, like I'm making hybrids.
I am Frankenstein right now. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
it was fun.
This movie and Steve Buscemi is harnessing that creepy crawler energy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and don't forget that he forced them to just be in a wind tunnel for over 4 hours, giving them the illusion that they were falling into a volcano full of lava.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's just like, oh yeah, no, that's fake. That's not real. It's an illusion.
Before that, it is an amazing scene where they're just falling for hours and they just get bored of it. They're just like, like how long have you been falling?
Yeah. Carmen is like falling to sleep. I think it looks like she's like sleeping. Yeah.
It's a pretty good bit. It's good.
So he tells us that he was making all these miniature animals, and then he says then I had the thought like, oh, I should make them like a little bit bigger, for the kids with the really meaty hands.
With the meaty hands.
Yeah. And he's like, and oh man, they really took to that growth serum. Like, and then it grows like way big. And there's this cool like silhouette shadow of him like being totally engulfed by these giant monsters.
Well, and there's like a flashback of him tripping and tipping over and dumping the growth serum, just like that evil scientist and Herbie dropped the picture of his wife into the Herbie net.
That's right.
I would like to like make a supercut of that, and then it just turns out to be a Gap ad for acid wash jeans.
Oh my god. Yeah. So his character is so funny, and I don't know. Everything he said was really funny to me.
Yeah,
He's
and
really
so then they have to go off on a journey to find the transmuker, and so we get lots of island journey situations. They got to fly on these magnets things. Yeah,
that's not Journey. But okay.
That's right. You're wrong. That's right. You're wrong. Is the
that's right. You're wrong.
Is the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life. And that's saying something. So
yeah, magnet air gliders. Then an area where you can read each other's thoughts.
And get stuck in a time loop, or not a time loop, but like a loop maze.
Yeah, and then we get a classic Indiana Jones, Aladdin, don't take anything in this cave situation.
There's legit an Indiana Jones prop that they hold up and then throw to the side.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, like that's the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like immediately where he's exchanging the bag of sand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like it's an exact dupe of that prop.
That's great. Yeah.
I loved the setup of the Juni's up there and is like, oh my God, dead skeletons or whatever. Like,
yeah, he says dead skeletons so many times.
And then he's like, oh my God, skeletons, and they're dead. And then I love the way that scene was set up. It's like there's all these skeletons on the wall, and then there's these two skeletons that like are in the midst of like pulling on either side of this necklace, and
they're fighting over a necklace.
Yeah, it looks like they just died. Like, give me that. And I thought that was like a really cool staging of that whole room there.
Like Captain America and Red Skull from the Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah. And then yeah. And then you're immediately reminded that
Justin knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, we're immediately reminded then that this movie came out at the same time as Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And he's super into it.
Yeah. He's like, one necklace to rule them all. Which I thought was funny. The skeletons come to life.
Yeah, so what's that movie with the skeleton fighting that they're
Clash of the Titans.
Yes, that they're riffing off of. There's a whole skeleton
or Jason and the Argonauts. Is that what it is?
Jason and the Argonauts as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's Harryhausen, and they did the CG in a way that was meant to look like stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
It looks great. It actually looks really, really good for 2002.
And the skeletons are hilarious because like they're like fighting them like they're gonna kill him, but then as soon as he gives back the necklace, they're just like, oh, all right, cool, and they like pat the guy in the back like, let's get out of here, and then they immediately start fighting over the necklace again.
I wish that would happen in more movies where they're like, oh, you're mad I took this? Here you go, have it back. Right. Like,
oh, that's all we wanted. Yeah. We didn't want to kill you, but I mean, come on.
But we need that necklace.
Yeah.
It's our
so they
anniversary.
Get separated. Oh, yeah. They get separated, and Carmen gets dropped in the nest with Gertie.
Yes, the pig stork nest. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they
get out of that somehow.
Yeah, they get out. I don't even remember.
Don't they fall?
I don't remember how.
Out, I think.
But Gertie reveals that Gary is on a rampage to get revenge on Juni. And then we have a whole like monster.
This is like
Attack
the Clash
of the
Titans type.
Riding a lizard fight. Yeah.
Or it's their wizard chess moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this kid, Gary's trying to like straight up kill this kid. He was like, I don't care if you fall off this giant pyramid or not. I just want to be number one.
I want to be number one.
They have this, it's like the spider monkey that turns out to be nice. Because he
want to be fed.
He feeds him. Yeah, he feeds him one of those protein bars.
Super dense, nutritious bar.
Yeah, and then they're like fighting each other, and eventually what is it called? A slizzard.
Slizzard and the spider monkey.
Slizzard.
Yeah, eventually the slither. I keep wanting to say slither in there.
Slytherin.
The slizzard, like drops this obelisk down on the spider monkey, and I love this part when the Gary's like,
your creature's lame.
He's like such a loser. Your creature's lame.
I did like it too when the girls arrived on the scene and Carmen fights Gary to protect Juni, and he's like, Gertie, aren't you gonna help me? And she's like, no, man, you're fighting a girl, you're gonna lose. Like as you would think that it would be like overly lame and girl powery to me, but I still thought it was cute because she was just like, dude, no.
Yeah.
No, because she plays it with such utter authority, like she's the better spy. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the moment too where Carmen gets to have her big moment, like she did in the last movie, that everyone was clearly a big part of the Spy Kids mythos at this point.
You're so full of shit, talking mushrooms.
And that's the audience of skeletons there going, ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
I was hoping that I was like, oh, they're gonna do another one and like not do shiitake mushrooms but do something else, like
Oh yeah.
oh fuck, or I don't know.
You're an association.
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna have to kick this ass association.
Yeah, I was hoping it might be something different, but it was fun that they like that was probably like a signature line from the first movie. So
Yeah.
they brought it back for this one.
Yeah.
Shiitake mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
They end up scaling the volcano, getting up to the top where the transmuker is. What I love about this scene is that how do you know it's the transmuker? Well, it's big and it's weird and it's in the middle of the room.
Yes. You're like, that makes sense. Kid logic.
That is exactly how I would think about it. Yeah.
And they end up having to use the elastic wonder band or whatever.
Yep. Machete's elastic wonder band
to save the day.
It has a million uses. You just have to find out what they are.
Yeah. 999
Dude, I believe
uses.
it. Like if there was an unbreakable rubber band, I would carry that thing around.
Oh my God.
Constantly.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
So they get it. There's rocket boots. They fly around. Mike Judge looks like a dum-dum.
They're on the beach. The family shows up. Everyone's there.
Yep.
And it all boils down to a fight between the dads. Dad fight. It's
Which
a dad off.
Is an amazing anti-violence fight sequence because they're pretty evenly matched and they just end up, everyone's like, give him like a headbutt, like give him like the choke hold, give him the sleeper hold, and they just end up like equaling each other out and just hurting each other.
Yeah, the first one is the best when they're like, kick his butt, and then they both like turn and kick their butts, and Gary's like, not like that. Not like that.
And it's like Antonio Banderas at the height of his action powers, right?
Yeah.
And then fighting Mike Judge, and they're playing it so seriously. It's amazing.
It's so funny. They just look like total buffoons.
Yeah.
Like triple backflip.
As they should. Yeah, like why are two dads fighting? Like this is dumb.
Yeah, do that move I showed you last night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The suplex. It's like, huh?
They're all like, what? Yeah.
That's what Carla Gugino yells at him. Do what I told you. I showed you last night.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't talk about. Well, yeah. I mean, we can talk about this at the end.
Yeah, Gertie ends up turning on her dad and brother, and that's why they're able to save the world.
Save the world, get the transmuker, and Juni decides that, you know what, I might not be cut out to be a spy, because it has been thrown in his face through the entire movie that in order to be a spy, you can't have family and you can't have friends.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ridiculous because they've been a family the entire time.
Yes.
And clearly all, if not most of the Spy Kids in the Spy Kids organization were children of the spies and siblings.
Right.
That's right.
So whatever. But I do like want to talk about Juni and all these dads and these like middle-aged men that he like gives advice to, like sort of holistically, like in these two movies. Like he's like a middle-aged man whisperer, you know, and like because he gives advice to Alan Cumming, and this one he gives good advice to Steve Buscemi to help him, and then with his dad and everything. Like in today's parlance, you wouldn't think of it that way when these movies were made, but in today's kind of terms, it's like the multiple male characters like going against the ideas of like toxic masculinity that we always see in these movies. And by connecting with this little kid who hasn't formed those stereotypes yet about what he should be or whatnot, like they are able to realize within themselves, like, I gotta not be that way. Especially like with the dad, there's so many times where his son kind of like shows him how to be a better dad instead of him just, telling his son what to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's like really nice because, there are not movies like that, and even like family movies and kids movies, most of them are not that well thought out to where the dad is going to be upending like tropes at every turn.
And if they are, it's a giant story beat that builds to that, and it's not just something that's just a relationship. It's just how he interfaces with the world. Like it's not a giant plot point that he tells Steve Buscemi to be like, hey, like maybe if you just give him a chance, like maybe they like you, or like if he talks to his dad, it's an overrunning gag through most of the movie, but the insights that he offers him are not. The act turns of like, oh, well, that's the end of the third act. Like he does say, I'll always need you, Dad. But like, that's superfluous to the point he's been trying to make the entire time.
Yeah. And they just have a really nice relationship. And then even the relationship that Antonio Banderas has with Ricardo Montalban, he ends up jumping in front of the in-laws to save them, even though it wasn't necessary. But anyways, he would have saved them. And so they basically tell him like, look, man, no one's good enough for our daughter, but like if anybody would be, it would be you. And that's
you're pretty close.
Kind of true for, I think, a lot of dads, there is no one. It's not possible. But you got to find somebody that's at least close, So,
yeah, lots of great relationships in this movie.
And then we ended up in once again an end title sequence from Bring It On.
Okay, but wait. This is so much. I feel like this is better because I think this has got to be one of the funniest ways.
Oh, it's amazing
that they have like worked to fit the fact that this is happening into the world of the film.
Yes.
Where it's not just like, oh, now there's a Alexa Vega's song at the end of the show.
No, I almost want the Bring It On movies to have this justification.
Yes.
Like it would make more sense. It would have been far better if this was there, but we have Danny Trejo being like, no, you get like they don't want to go out there, which is the best way to start this scene. Is that nobody, it's like, look, nobody wants this, right?
Yeah, I can't sing. I'm not gonna go
I can't sing. I can go. They're just like, you're spies, and they all believe that you're a pop star, so you're gonna get out
you're
there.
undercover as a pop star. And
he's like, look, when he was like, this belt will make you dance like Brittany Lopez, and she's like, like she doesn't even correct him. She's just like, oh god,
this guitar will make you play like Carlos Santana.
No, Angus Santana.
Oh yeah, Angus Santana. Yeah, because he's dressed up like Angus Young. Yeah. But then
there's no way that Danny Trejo or Machete would not know Carlos Santana. They're probably best friends in real life, for all we know.
And it turns out to be a pretty fun music number.
Yeah, it was so funny. I thought that was great. Like, because we've seen so many things where it's like, oh, now here, after Bring It On, it was like endless.
Well, it's great.
One of these stars lip sync to a bad music video.
Yeah,
it's another example, like I said, of these young actors and this young actress in particular not having the narcissism of I gotta look cute, I gotta look hot. She's like, no, I'm gonna look silly and it's gonna be fun, so it's really nice. One thing too in the final was I liked that the Gary was not fully fired like the dad was. He was just temporarily disavowed, and Carmen asked him like, next time are you gonna make the right decision and do the right thing? And he's like, I don't know, maybe. And his glasses flash with bad boy.
It's like bad boy.
They're like, this. We're gonna just like play on this trope and be like, yep, she liked him because he was bad. He's probably going to stay bad.
Yeah.
And she now recognizes that that's not, the guy to go
found
for.
it so Scott Pilgrim-y. It was great.
She has that line earlier in the movie too, like, I can change him.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
And the whole time her brother's just like, oh God, but neither him or the dad full on says like, you may not date this guy or what, like they like, oh, we're going to let this play out. She'll come to the right conclusion on her own.
Yeah. Like even when Antonio Banderas is hazing the fuck out of him, like, it's it's not even one of those things that's played off as serious. It's just like,
it's very harmless.
I did
the trope of the dad, like
protecting,
grading the boyfriend or it's gross and dumb, and this was like a playful enough version that I'll allow it.
I did love how Juni just like hated that kid throughout the entire movie. There's this part where like we didn't talk about this, but like Steve Buscemi's character has like this like miniature model of the island where you can see where like digitally where everyone is on the island, and when they first get there, they're like, oh gosh, it looks like the Giggles are in trouble over here. They're getting attacked by these lizards. And Juni's like, leave them.
yeah. But I think could die.
He's just like, leave him.
I think in a lesser movie, though, he would hate that guy because there's a romantic situation with the sister.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, he just hates him because he's a jerk and for spy reasons.
Right.
And then he just lets the thing with the sister play out. It's not like, oh, you pay more attention to your boyfriend than you pay attention to me now.
Right,
or,
like
it's nothing stupid like that.
Oh, yeah. He's just like, he's just joking with her throughout the movie that she has a crush on
which
him.
shows you like how much of that shit is adults superimposing their problems in kids movies. Like, it's like, because when you think about it from back in that time, and we were like, you're not, that's not how you're thinking about things. Like,
no.
That's what's great about this movie.
Yeah.
And so after the music video, we then get a second set of post-credits shenanigans.
After the music video ends with Machete basically being Michael Jordan in Space Jam, saying that he did not put any batteries inside of his gadgets, and they were able to
even though
everything.
The gadget was clearly working because there was
the person was like amped up where they're like dancing even crazier.
And it was like Spanish, and she was singing in Spanish. Like
she was just overcompensating, but really she had the skills all along to
Michael's secret stuff.
Jerk back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the next thing that happens, but my favorite part of the post-credit sequence is Bill Paxton showing up to Steve Buscemi being like, I got an idea. Theme park.
I know, like he had rowed a boat the entire way to this island. Now that it's visible,
it's gonna be like the John Hammond of the island.
No, it's exactly what it is.
Theme park. Yeah, the scene. I think one of the funniest scenes too is like the green screen moment when Steve Buscemi's like, the animals love me, and he's just like, wow, and they're like licking his face, and it looks so like he's just like, why am I doing this? It looks so goofy.
One thing that was I read that Robert Rodriguez, they made this movie for the same budget as the first movie.
Okay.
Like he didn't ask for any more special effects, even though there's even more special effects. There's like double the amount of special effects in this movie, and he just said, no, I don't want any more money. We'll just be more creative. We'll figure it out. And there's some that worked to some degree, and I thought that the creatures all looked stylized in the right way, and I think that like for 2002, damn, everything still looks pretty great.
And the
you
stop
get double
motion
use out of them because you have the small version and the big version. It's the same model.
Absolutely.
And I did think that stop motion effect that they had like worked pretty well. Yeah,
it did. No, it looks very good.
Yeah. So then we also have bloopers.
Yeah, real bloopers.
Ballet bloopers.
Where you can like hear the audio and everything. Yeah. Lots of people getting dropped while dancing. Yeah.
And then, like we said, another just long tracking shot of the treehouse to end it out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lots of thank yous, like you mentioned, Harryhausen. George Lucas gets a thanks.
Yep. Because he used some of his Star Wars techniques for filming, I believe.
Okay.
The digital cameras, according to Wikipedia. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the movie.
So why was it called The Island of Lost Dreams again?
Good question.
That's a great question.
Okay, I was like, did I miss something? Like,
Well, because his dream was the little
The zoo? Okay.
and the island was lost.
The animals were lost on the island. No, I don't know. Yeah, I am not really entirely certain.
Then the smoke monster came.
yeah.
Oh God.
Where's Juliet in this series?
Jacob.
She better show up.
There's a giant statue of a foot on the side of the island.
There were some giant statues underneath. Yeah.
That's right.
So
this
fun.
is actually the island that Mr. Echo ended up on.
Oh God. All right. Rating system. Non-Lost related rating system.
You've made it difficult.
You're right. It was going to be Lost related.
All right. Well, let's just. How many miniature spider monkeys would you give Spy Kids 2: The Island of Lost Dreams?
Of Lost Dreams. I'm going to go and give this one 7 miniature spider monkeys. I think that this is another pretty fun movie. Had a good time watching it. Again, like so much creativity on the screen. Like it moves really fast. It's a little bit longer than the last movie, but I didn't feel that at all. I liked the introduction of like the rival kids, and it was still mostly about the kids. The parents are like the subplot. I did enjoy that moment where you seem like it's going to be flipped on their heads and like, oh, the parents are coming to save them this time. But then the parents are terrible. As they should be.
They're just like, oh no, you're here.
Yeah, they're like the South Park parents where they're all stupid. Yeah, I think this one, it doesn't really repeat a lot of ideas. I guess it's kind of like, Romero's character is like the Floop of this movie, but I thought that was just a totally different take on that kind of character a little bit. And yeah, I just had fun. I think it's a solid sequel. Good callbacks. Surprised to see some of the people come back from the first one, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually give it 8 miniature spider monkeys, because I think I gave the first one an 8, and to me they are like basically equal. And for whatever this one maybe lacks in as much originality, that's just because it is a sequel and we already knew some of the things to start out with.
Right.
And also, the animals in this one are not going to give me nightmares the way those thumb people and those fooglies or whatever. Like those were just so horrifying to me. I just kind of can't get over it. Even when like the 2 scenes where they show those thumbs in this movie, I was like, oh God, no, I can't.
No, get out of your thumbsies.
Yeah. So that stuff's just like too gross to me. So that the movie's even out. And I really liked the performances in this movie by all of the actors, especially all the kids. We didn't talk much about the president's daughter, but Taylor Momsen I thought was pretty cute, and they had a cute relationship without making it like overly romantic or anything stupid like that. And yeah, Antonio Banderas is just so without ego, in this performance, that it's just like it's a beautiful sight to be seen. And yeah, I thought that Daryl Sabara really shone in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go one above. I don't remember what I gave the last one, but I feel like it was maybe a 7. So I might have to go 8 tiny spider monkeys. I feel like this one is a lot more fun. I feel like that even though that you're right in that Buscemi is doing the Ellen Cumming role, I feel like it's just like swapping different character actors, and I would watch it. Like, oh no, it's Stephen Root this week.
Yeah, we should try to guess who the next one is.
I think I already know who it is.
Oh, okay. Don't tell us.
But yeah, it's just I think that's just wonderful. And I like the characters. I like the island setting and the small animals, and it just felt like there was a lot more stuff that I identified as like, man, like that's how I was thinking as a kid. Of like, this is how I thought about these things. And I thought that it was really fun. And again, like one of the things that is so specifically designed for kids in a way that a lot of things aren't now or can't be just because the financials behind what it takes to make a movie these days. And and there's just so much creativity and so much fun. Like you get the feeling that like, oh, I have Mike Judge or Richard Linklater's kids or whatever, and like everybody's just hanging out, laughing in between takes of this movie. Like people are having fun. Like you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, this one, was another pretty successful sequel here. Came out. It didn't hit number one the weekend it came out. It was behind Signs and Triple X.
Oh boy,
that weekend. But
competition.
Wow, what a weekend!
Yeah, but it ended up making 119 million worldwide.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. So that means we're getting another one. I mean, we already knew this, but I'm just giving you guys the background. Up next, we have Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
Yeah, and a third movie should really always be 3D.
Yeah. If it's not, like, what are you doing?
If not, get out of here.
Yeah.
Those are the rules.
Why are you not 3D right now? Come
Jaws 3D, Spy Kids 3D. That's it.
What do you guys? This is the one that I've seen. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think it might be about?
Wait, what did you say it was? 3D
Game Over.
Was there a Game Over? Oh, well, there's got to be like a video game simulation.
They're gonna get trapped in Nick Arcade.
Yes.
And have to compete against Olmec and Mark Summers.
She's throwing the coins. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna somehow get stuck in a video game, and then I don't know, who will the character actor villain be?
I feel like it's like what year is it, Justin?
2003. It's the very next year.
I feel like that's like right Bruce Willis like cameo status. Like, I feel like that's like that because like Sin City was around that time. Like yeah. I feel like that it could be somebody that he was working with on other movies.
I want to go with a female character. I'm gonna say Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
She'd love to chew that scenery somehow. Okay.
Let's see. Hold on here.
What, are you looking it up?
No, I'm looking up when Once Upon a Time in Mexico came
out. Oh. Yeah, what is it? Is it going to be Johnny Depp?
That was also 2003. So we're in danger of Johnny Depp and Selma Hayek.
Yeah,
you never know.
Selma Hayek, she could be a good villain.
You never know.
Okay.
Well, that's going to be next week. Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Until then, Eliz, where can people get in touch with us?
Yeah, send us an email, sequelrights@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Let us know what spy gadget you dreamt up when you were a kid, or what spy gadget that you wish you had now. Or if there's another Spy Kids movie, give us your pitch for what character actor would be starring in it now and what weird project they'd be up to.
Yes.
Now it'd be Margot Martindale, of course.
Margot Martindale. Give us your Margot Martindale pitch.
I think it would probably be like Bryan Cranston as the bad guy.
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh man.
With his TikToks.
Well, you guys, oh God, I can't wait for you to see who it is.
Okay.
It's going to be great. Next week, we got Spy Kids 3D. Game Over, man. Game over.